They never tell you this when you're young. Your intelligence is not just admired, it is feared. The moment people sense you are sharper than them, something subtle shifts. Jokes suddenly stop when you enter the room. Compliments feel like daggers wrapped in velvet. And the more you prove yourself, the more you feel the quiet hostility in the air. History is full of people who were destroyed not by stupidity, but by their own brilliance. Their mistake was simple. They revealed too much. Schopenhauer warned of this hidden danger. He saw that to parade your mind openly is to invite envy, resistance, and even betrayal. Because every time your words cut deeper than others can bear, you don't just expose truth, you expose their insecurity. And insecurity is vengeful. Think about the last time you offered the right answer, only to watch faces harden. Or when your insight was dismissed, not because it lacked merit, but because it embarrassed those who didn't see it first. That sting you felt, that wasn't your failure, that was your brilliance, punished. And here is the forbidden truth. Sometimes the greatest power does not come from displaying intelligence, but from hiding it. From choosing when to sheath the blade, when to play the fool, when to let others underestimate you, so their guard drops and the truth reveals itself. This is not weakness, this is strategy. The strategy of emperors, of visionaries, of survivors who understood that the cleverest bird does not sing the loudest tune. It listens, it waits, and then, at the right moment, it strikes with silence sharper than any words. But why does this work? Why does acting less intelligent make you more powerful? Today, we'll uncover what Schopenhauer knew, that sometimes appearing smaller is the only way to grow beyond reach. That being underestimated is not an insult, but a shield. And that by controlling how your intelligence is perceived, you can protect yourself, disarm rivals, and even turn their arrogance into your greatest weapon. Stay with me, because once you understand this, you will never again feel punished for being smart. Instead, you will wield your intelligence like a hidden dagger, unseen, unsuspected, unstoppable. Intelligence looks like a crown from the outside, but wear it too visibly, and it becomes a target nailed to your forehead. The moment others label you as the smartest person in the room, you stop being human. You become a measuring stick. Every word you speak is weighed, every silence is suspected, every mistake is magnified into proof that you are not as untouchable as you seemed. At first, you might believe this attention is admiration, but watch closely. Admiration curdles quickly into something darker: envy, resistance, quiet alliances formed not to support you, but to outshine you, or worse, to see you fall. Why? Because visible intelligence threatens the fragile balance of every group. In families, in companies, even among friends, people crave a predictable order. They want to know their place in the hierarchy. But when your insight slices through the illusions they depend on, you destabilize that order. You make them feel small, exposed, replaceable. And when people feel small, they don't thank you for showing them truth. They punish you for reminding them of it. It is a law of human nature. The brighter the flame, the more shadows it casts. And those shadows belong to the people around you. History is full of cautionary tales, minds too brilliant for their own safety. Think of the advisor who gave the king counsel so piercing that it made the crown feel like a mockery, or the scientist whose discoveries shook the foundations of his age, only to find himself exiled by the very community he had enlightened. Their downfall wasn't ignorance, it was exposure. But you don't need history books to feel this. You've lived it. Remember the moment when you answered too quickly and the room grew tense, or when your solution, though perfect, was ignored because it embarrassed the one in charge. You didn't just see the truth, you revealed it. And revelation is dangerous. This is the invisible trap of intelligence. You think it will open doors. Instead, it closes them. You think it will attract allies. Instead, it breeds competitors. You think it will free you. Instead, it chains you to endless defenses, explaining, justifying, softening your words so others won't break under them. And here lies the cruel irony. The more openly you display your brilliance, the less freedom you have to use it. Because now every eye is watching. Every hand is ready to strike at the slightest misstep. That is why the wisest never parade their intelligence in full. They understood what most never do. Intelligence, when worn on the outside, is fragile. But intelligence, hidden, controlled, released only at the right moment, becomes indestructible. This is where the strategy begins. To survive the trap, you must learn not just how to be intelligent, but how to disguise it. not to bury your power, but to wield it invisibly, so that while others compete for the spotlight, you stand in the shadows, shaping the game itself. If raw intelligence is a crown that makes you a target, then simplicity is the cloak that makes you untouchable. Strategic simplicity is not about dumbing yourself down. It is about learning when to let others believe you are smaller than you are. It is about choosing invisibility over exposure, humility over spectacle, because when people feel superior to you, their defenses drop. Their pride relaxes, and that is when they reveal far more than they intend. Think of it as sheathing a sword. The blade is still sharp, but hidden. To flaunt it constantly is to invite challengers. To conceal it is to leave others guessing until the moment you decide to strike. The power of this simplicity lies in its paradox. The less threatening you appear, the more freedom you gain. People lean closer, thinking they are guiding you, when in reality they are exposing themselves. They speak without filters, convinced you cannot weaponize their words. They underestimate you, and in that underestimation they hand you the map to their desires, their fears, their weaknesses. History whispers of leaders who mastered this art. Not the generals who shouted orders, but the quiet figures who asked naive questions in council chambers, watching as arrogance betrayed the loudest voices. Their apparent ignorance was a mirror, making others reveal what they most wanted to hide. Even in everyday life, you've seen this. The colleague who pretends not to understand the jargon, forcing others to explain, and in explaining they strip away the illusion of competence. The friend who nods silently, never interrupting, and by the time they finally speak, every word lands with double the weight. Simplicity disarms because it feeds the ego of others. An ego, once fed, grows careless, but there is more. Strategic simplicity doesn't just protect you from attack, it builds influence in secret. When you let others believe an idea is theirs, they cling to it fiercely, defending what they think they created. You lose credit, yes, but you gain something far greater: loyalty, trust, and the power to steer without being seen as the one steering. This is why Schopenhauer admired the posture of humility, not because it was moral, but because it was tactical. He saw that intelligence shouted is fragile, but intelligence disguised as modesty is unstoppable. Imagine walking into a room and not needing to prove anything. Imagine letting others talk themselves into comfort while you gather the truth between their words. Imagine holding the kind of power that doesn't provoke resistance, but silently bends situations in your favor. This is the art of strategic simplicity, not weakness, not surrender, but mastery. Those who carried it moved unseen, avoided envy, and bent entire empires without lifting their voice. Yet the true power of this strategy only becomes clear when you witness the lives of those who used it, not in theory, but in the flesh of history and the world around us. The world rewards those who shine, or so it seems. But look closer, and you'll notice a darker truth. Many who flaunted their brilliance became martyrs of their own genius, while those who cloaked their intelligence quietly reshaped the world. This is the paradox Schopenhauer hinted at, the hidden advantage of playing small. Let's uncover 5 ways in which acting less intelligent does not weaken you. It multiplies your power. Advantage 1. You erase the target on your back, openly display your sharpness, and you awaken envy. Colleagues watch for your slip, rivals conspire, friends turn cold, but appear ordinary, even a little naive, and suddenly the target vanishes. Warren Buffett is one of the richest men alive, yet he cultivated the image of a plain-spoken old man from Nebraska. He still lives in the same modest house he bought in 1958. He cracks simple jokes at shareholder meetings, speaks in stories rather than formulas, and eats fast food like a retiree with no secrets. On the surface, he looks harmless. But behind that mask of ordinariness, he constructed an empire so vast that entire markets move at his nod. His disguise was his armor. When you hide the crown, you protect your head. Advantage 2. You make others reveal more than they should. People guard their words when they fear your sharpness. But when they sense you as clumsy, behind the curve, they rush to educate you. They over-explain. They brag. And in the process, they give away truths they would never have confessed to a rival. Elon Musk has often been mocked for his awkward pauses, his scattered way of speaking, his childish jokes on Twitter. Many dismissed him as eccentric rather than strategic. Competitors underestimated him, openly mocking his ventures as doomed. Yet while they ridiculed, they revealed their skepticism, their blind spots, their complacency. Musk listened. He built Tesla into an industry shift while Detroit was still laughing. He launched rockets while space agencies doubted. He turned their arrogance into fuel. Naivete disarms, and disarmed people reveal the secrets that build empires. Advantage 3. You control the dynamics of power. Nothing threatens ego more than someone smarter in the room. But nothing soothes ego more than someone who seems to need your guidance. By playing the student, you make others feel like teachers. And in that role, they soften, open, and unknowingly step into your orbit. Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, is revered for transforming one of the most rigid corporate giants into a culture of innovation. How did he do it? Not by storming in as the loudest genius, but by asking deceptively simple questions. In meetings, he listened more than he spoke, let others feel like the experts, and gave away credit rather than hoarding it. The result? A workforce that trusted him, followed him, and carried out his vision as if it were their own. This is the paradox. By seeming smaller, you expand your influence. By bowing your head, you bend the entire structure of power toward you. Advantage 4. You see truth without filters. When people fear your intelligence, they perform for you. They polish their words, hide their flaws, craft a version of reality that protects them from judgment. But when they believe you harmless, the masks fall away. You see them unfiltered. Oprah Winfrey mastered this art. She rarely outshouted her guests. Instead, she asked simple, almost childlike questions. What did that feel like? Why do you think you did that? Questions so basic they lowered every guard, and in that space of apparent innocence, guests revealed secrets they had sworn to take to their graves. Politicians, actors, even criminals wept, confessed, and exposed themselves, believing they were safe. Oprah's power was not in dazzling them with brilliance. It was in making them believe she needed their wisdom, so they revealed it all. Simplicity is the scalpel that cuts through lies more sharply than intellect ever could. Advantage 5. You unleash your intelligence at the perfect moment. If you show brilliance constantly, people grow numb to it. But if you conceal it, if you let them underestimate you, then when you finally reveal your sharpness, the effect is explosive. Angela Merkel was once called boring, gray, uncharismatic, the quiet woman of European politics. Her opponents dismissed her as cautious to the point of weakness. And yet, when crises struck, the collapse of economies, the flood of refugees, the fractures of the European Union, her hidden steadiness, her intellect revealed only at critical junctures, made her the most powerful leader on the continent for over a decade. Her power lay not in being dazzling every day, but in unleashing her clarity in moments that mattered most. That is the essence of this advantage. By letting others believe you are weak, you save your strength for the strike that no one saw coming. These 5 advantages are not theory. They are the silent engines behind the lives of some of the most powerful figures alive today. And yet, every advantage is a double-edged sword, because if you lean too far into disguise, you risk vanishing inside it. If you play the fool too well, others may never recognize the truth of your power, even when you need them to. That's why in the next part, we will step into the shadows of this strategy, the dangers of misusing it, the traps it sets even for those who master it, and how to protect yourself from turning invisibility into self-erasure. Stay here, because knowing the dangers is what separates the strategist from the casualty. Every weapon cuts both ways. The same disguise that shields you from envy can also strangle your own voice. And the same humility that disarms your enemies can, if misused, erase you entirely. The first danger is this: you can become trapped in the role you play. Acting less intelligent works because people believe it. But if you wear the mask too long, they forget it is a mask. Opportunities pass you by. Promotions land on others. Friends mistake your silence for emptiness. You created the illusion to protect yourself, and then you begin to suffocate inside it. History offers bitter reminders. Nikola Tesla was a genius whose ideas electrified the modern world, yet he often concealed his sharpness behind eccentric humility. Investors dismissed him, rivals stole from him, By the end, he died in poverty while the less brilliant, but more assertive, carried his crown. Hiding too well can cost you the recognition you deserve. The second danger, disguise can breed contempt. When you act naive for too long, some will stop underestimating you and start despising you. They'll treat you as genuinely lesser, shutting you out of circles where decisions are made. What began as a shield becomes a prison. And the third most perilous danger, you can lose yourself in the performance. When you constantly suppress your sharpness, you start to forget how to wield it. Your own brilliance dulls under layers of self-restraint. You no longer know when you're pretending and when you're simply shrinking. This is how self-protection mutates into self-erasure. Angela Merkel knew this balance well. For years, she endured being underestimated, called plain, even invisible. But unlike Tesla, she chose her moments to reveal strength. She used invisibility as a cloak, not a coffin. That is the razor's edge, knowing when to stay hidden and when to strike. So remember this, the art of acting less intelligent is not surrender. It is a tactic. And like all tactics, it must serve you, not consume you. The mask should be a tool you pick up and put down, never a skin you cannot shed. Because if you lose control of the disguise, you don't become powerful, you become forgotten. In the end, intelligence is not a light to be kept always burning, nor a flame to be forever hidden. It is a fire you must learn to control, sometimes warming, sometimes guiding, sometimes terrifying. The true mastery lies not in being brilliant, but in deciding when to let the brilliance show. This is the transformation. To stop feeling punished by your sharpness and instead to wield it as a choice, to wear humility not as a chain but as a cloak, to let underestimation protect you until the moment comes when your clarity can no longer be ignored. Schopenhauer hinted at this, that wisdom is not about thinking more, but about knowing the stage on which to think aloud. So how can you practice this? 3 simple, deliberate acts. Step 1. Ask the naive question. In your next meeting, instead of rushing to display your insight, pause. Ask something so simple it seems obvious. Can you walk me through that again? Why do we do it this way? The answers, stripped of jargon, often reveal the cracks no one else dared to notice. Step 2. Give away the credit. When you sense your idea might provoke envy, frame it as belonging to the group, or even let someone else carry it forward. You lose the spotlight, but you gain allies who will defend the idea as their own. Step 3. Choose the moment of revelation. Hold your sharpness until it matters. Let others underestimate you. Let them lower their guard. And then, when the stakes rise, when clarity is rare and needed, unveil your full strength. In that moment, your voice will land like a thunderclap. And now let me ask you this. What hidden rule have you already mastered in your own life? What small tactic, what quiet practice has given you unexpected strength? Share it in the comments, because sometimes a single shift, a phrase, a habit, a question, can alter everything. Your insight might be the spark that someone else desperately needs. And if you carry even one such practice, it means you belong to that rare circle of people who are not just intelligent but strategically intelligent, people who know that brilliance is a weapon best used with care. This is not deception. It is discipline. It is learning that power is not in dazzling people constantly, but in shaping the rhythm of how your intelligence appears. Too little, and you fade. Too much, and you invite resistance. Just enough at the right time, and you alter the entire field. So remember, brilliance does not need to be proven every second. It needs to be preserved, protected, and revealed with precision. That is the hidden advantage of acting less intelligent. And perhaps the greatest freedom is this, no longer feeling the need to prove yourself at all. How many times in your life have you felt punished for being sharp? How many times have you watched your ideas dismissed, not because they were wrong, but because they revealed too much? That pain is not a sign of weakness. It is the mark of brilliance. But brilliance without strategy is a candle in the storm, bright but fragile. Brilliance with discipline, with timing, with humility becomes unshakable. It becomes a hidden blade, invisible until the moment it changes everything. And this is your reminder. You are not alone in this struggle. The most powerful minds in history walked the same razor's edge, too sharp to be ignored, too vulnerable when seen too soon. What separates their tragedy from their triumph was not intelligence itself, but the art of concealing it until the world was ready. So here is my invitation to you. Carry this strategy into your own life. Don't waste your genius fighting needless battles. Don't exhaust yourself proving your worth to those who cannot bear it. Save your strength for the moments that matter, when your intelligence can truly alter the course of things. Share your story below. When was the last time someone underestimated you and you turned that moment into your hidden advantage? Your words might be the spark another brilliant mind here has been waiting for. And by sharing, you'll recognize something powerful. You are not just intelligent. You are part of a community of people who turn underestimation into strength. And before you go, don't let this video vanish into the stream. Save it so you can return when you need the reminder. Share it because someone you know is carrying the same hidden burden. And above all, subscribe because this is where rare minds gather, people like you who know that brilliance isn't about noise, but about timing, precision, and silent power. Stay close because in the next video, we'll uncover another forbidden tactic, one that even Schopenhauer himself might have feared. Until then, protect your brilliance and let it strike when the world least expects it.